You know, it's only once you walk away from a weapon you've been using for 10 weeks do you realize just how much you appreciate the flow of the weapon you know. So much damage. Ah, it feels good to be back with my switch axe. HJ Hunts. Welcome back to another HJ Hunts Journal. This is where I go through all of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, hunting every monster and pretty much document my thoughts of the whole playthrough. If you like that sort of stuff, be sure to like the video and subscribe. I have to say, now we are on to Journal 2 of Iceborne. I still love this game so much. And there was one thing I want to address, which is there was a lot of indecisiveness if I should do Iceborne and Rise at the same time. And I know some of you are like, you're going to hurt yourself, you're not going to enjoy both games truly. And that might be true to some case. So far I am enjoying myself, but I'm also getting a very unique perspective of jumping between the previous game Iceborne and Rise, the newborn, the new game. And I'm drawing parallels of my experiences, which is, I think, something unique. Now, some people say that might take away because I can't fully immerse myself, but I'm always playing multiple games at the same time, so I don't really think it's that big of a problem. But really, so throughout this journal entry, one thing that's going to be unique about it is I'm going to be constantly drawing parallels between the two games, for better or for worse. You know, the fact that now I'm getting thrown into battles in Iceborne and I can't just jump on a dog to run to my monster, that's a con. The fact that the world feels so much more epic in World versus Rise, to me, that's a pro. So constantly comparing the two, which I think is going to be an interesting aspect of this journey. But now, let's talk about this past week, which was another exciting week. We slayed 4 to 5 monsters. We made it past, what's his name? Barioth. Barioth was the big monster this week. I always love how every week there's always like, just a flagpole like milestone to hit. I didn't even know about Barioth. I just learned he was a wall. And I almost didn't make it through that wall. But we're going to talk about that in a moment. So one thing I did not mention last week that I want to cover was decorations. Throughout my whole playthrough of Monster Hunter World, I didn't really play with decorations too much because I wasn't really grinding. I was just trying to get through to the credits with whatever armor could get me there. But now that I'm in Master Rank, I really need to optimize my sets. And I started playing more with decorations. And I have to say, I really like this mechanic. It's now that I get it. Like, people are like, don't worry about your defense, just worry about your skills. Honestly, I didn't really get that in Monster Hunter World, and trying to manage all of this learning that was coming at me very fast, adding decorations to the mix with all these skills was just too much. And trying to figure out all the pieces, the armors, which one's good and which one's bad and which one, how to mix, it was overwhelming. But now it's I've approached, so in Master Rank, what's good now is that I'm back to a very minimal amount of armor. The first thing I actually did in this week's stream is I went back to Barioth, whatever, the blue fish, and I finished his whole armor set. So for the first time in a while, I had a whole full matching armor set. And that was the best armor set available to me at the time. So I'm like, okay, well, there's no more figuring out what armor pieces to have. This is the best one. Let's play with decorations. And now I understood that, okay, there's different slots to do. And, oh, if I do this, I can get like a little bit more, like I got earplugs for one. Oh my God, earplugs. What a game changer. These beasts were roaring at me and I'm just like, I don't care. I'm going to keep swinging my axe at you because your roars don't do anything to me. It was a really good feeling. So now I'm paying a lot more attention to when I'm appraising those jewels and decos at the end. And I think I'm really going to enjoy as I get to points, actually not even when I get to points where the armor is to my liking. But now when I go into battles, I can prepare a little bit more decoration. So for example, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I went against a Nightshade Paolumu, and I got tipped off that, you know, I would be sleeping a lot. I don't know if it was hinted in the quest. Definitely the chat helped there. So I'm like, all right, put some decorations that will resist sleep. Didn't help that much. But being able to do that for a battle, it's a game changer in my experience of how to prepare in this game. So yeah, so in terms of what I did this week, the decorations, then went out, got my full armor set for Barioth. Then for the next quest, I got lost for a half hour. It was probably the worst part of the stream ever. It was the part of the quest where you go to the Hoarfrost Reach, which is still a really dumb, I think that name is dumb. It can be just taken in so many ways. Imagine Yoda saying that name. Let's just say that. You know how Yoda likes to move things around? Leave that to your imagination. The Frost of the Hort Reach. is what it would be. Sorry, I just had to really just come out and say it. So anyways, we go to a quest that turns out to be the Viper Tobi Kadachi. And the handler's like, follow me. I was like, all right. And then she starts talking with like someone else. And I'm just like, all right, I guess I'll go find the monster we're supposed to find. Half hour looking at this map. And I'm just like, where is this thing? Turns out I was supposed to go back and talk to the handler to trigger them hunting the Viper. And then we run into it. So that was 30 minutes lost. Anyways, the Viper Tobi Kadachi quest fight was really interesting because just before it, we also met a Fulgur Anjanath. What a foul-mouthed beast that one is. Dropping F-bombs everywhere. It's a very bad dad joke, but I love it. You guys know I have an affinity to Anjanath. He's special in my heart. So to see Anjanath in the Hoarfrost Reach again was cool, but I'm like, oh, he looks a little different. And then I got close and they're like, no, this is the Fulgur Anjanath. And I was like, all right, we got like Anjanath as a cousin. Awesome. But it got even better because during my Tobi Kadachi fight, he showed up, jumped in, bit him, 2,000 damage. I'm like, and then he just left. I'm like, thank you, buddy. That's why I like you. The Tobi fight I like because there was also, I learned that there was like stalagmites or stalactites, whatever they are, icicles hanging from the ceiling that I got to make it fall on him. There was also like the beetle bug things that I can just kind of like whoop, and then I would be like swinging and I would just come down on him. He eventually caught on and would start jumping up at me and paralyzing me in the air, which was not really good. But very good fight, a lot more lethal than the original Tobi. I love these variants, by the way. So we did a lot of variants this week, including Tobi, Coral, Puke, Nightshade, Paolumu. And, you know, in other worlds and games, it would just be a very boring reskin, I feel. That, like, if you would look at it, you're like, oh, it's a boring reskin. But they have really redesigned the mechanics of these monsters so much, it feels like an entirely new fight. And I love that. The Viper Tobi, compared to the original Tobi, you know, the original Tobi would electrify me a bunch. That's still here, but now, he's got the paralyzing, was it paralyzing? I think it was paralyzing or poisonous bite. I don't remember, but I remember his teeth with the fangs were a lot more dangerous, and he can just do a lot more damage and inflict a lot more trouble on you. So that was one fight. After that, we lost the handler, so the handler goes off on her own quest, and we get given the serious handler, who I could have played this whole game with the serious handler, honestly. I found the serious handler had ironically enough, more interesting personality despite her dry approach to things. And I was really always a little bit annoyed, though, that she always called me her temporary partner. You know, we're on this journey together, we're doing the thing, but she would never let me forget that, hey, this is just temporary. Don't get too attached. Everywhere we go, this is my temporary partner. This is my temporary partner. You know what? Just for 2 quests, can we just pretend we're real partners? And just forget about the past handler I had and let this be real for a moment? But no. Temporary handler. So anyways, a couple quests later, she left us. So we had the Coral Puke, and I had no idea what to expect from this. And what an innuendo-filled fight. It's the Puke, but with two nozzles to spray water at us. And what's worse is, well, I don't know if it's worse, but this fight was just both entertaining, funny, and fun all at the same time. So he sprays water out of his mouth now instead of poison, but then it's a spray, and sometimes he puts his tongue between the spray so that he gets the double shot, which made me make a joke about, gee, I wonder how many men in the washroom take inspiration from Puke. Because men, you know, when you go to those public washrooms, you're like, how do you miss a target this big, men? Like, how do you get it all over the place? I don't know. Anyways, and then the Puke also has the tail that he just gets all gush, and then he just sprays that out. And if you get caught in that, you just get like lasered by water. It was intense, and then he flies and he can spray water all around in the circle. He had so much area of attack. It was really dangerous, but he was still no challenge because we took him down. Made sure to take off his tail so that he could stop spraying from one end, and then we just had one end to worry about, and then we finished him off. It was a pretty good fight. Then we went to the Nightshade Paolumu, so it's the same thing. It's our Kirby, but now he puts us to sleep. He has a snipe. He has a snipe attack where he can just ping you and you fall asleep, and then there's just gas everywhere. Somehow, if I would see this, I would say this is not a fight I would enjoy if I looked at it. But honestly, compared to the first Palumu, I enjoyed myself more with this fight, and I don't know why. I got put to sleep a bunch of times. I almost died a few times, but I had some fun with it. I think maybe it's because I had the clutch claw. Maybe it's because I had more of my axe move. Like the flash bombs, I find didn't really work well on him anyways. Flash bombs are so like overrated at this point. They don't do anything compared to World. So that was the Nightshade. I don't necessarily want to fight him too many more times because like he's funner than the last Palumu, but it's still a Palumu, and I don't really care about Palumus. So then we go back to the Hoarfrost's Reach, and then we go and fight a Barioth. And chat kind of prepped me, not prepped me, but scared me in the sense of, oh, here comes a wall. So I'm like, all right. So far in my Iceborne journey, it's been a pretty nice, smooth ride. So I'm like, all right, Barioth is probably going to be a serious challenge. And boy, Barioth hits hard, he's fast, and he's aggressive. He's like throwing like ice tornadoes at me. He's shoulder checking me. I hate that shoulder check. Has the longest tail of any creature I've seen except for maybe Xeno. And he knows how to use it. Like he is flipping that tail around. And I was losing. Let's just say I was having a lot of troubles. I was going through my potions like crazy. I did not think I would win. And I don't know who it was in chat, but I have to give a shout out because my eyes went to chat and someone mentioned the clutch claw, and it just all came to me. It's like, you know, you're in a fighting ring and like someone in the audience just yells something and like you remember all your training. I was like, the clutch claw. I haven't been using the clutch claw properly. I was like, oh my God, I can do so many things with the clutch claw. Like it's just not in my arsenal, my organic arsenal set. And being so pressured and stressed with a new monster, I wasn't even thinking of using my new mechanics. I was just trying to do my usual like my invasion sensations and my axe. So when I got the idea of the clutch claw, that's all they said, by the way. They just said clutch claw. I'm like, all right, we can clutch claw to the face, and I can just unload stones into his mouth and ram him into the wall. And that was the game-changing moment where it all just clicked. That gave me an opening to actually like inflict damage on him. And then it was a matter of, okay, let's try to survive his dodges. But then I was all focused on, okay, I got a clutch claw to his face, ram him into a wall. That gives me my opening, and I can just kill him. It was still tough. I came close to dying so many times. The natives with the sticks, they helped me a few times. I think they were like throwing some paralysis sticks at him or something. I don't know what happened, but it gave me a few more openings. And this dance lasted for 30 minutes. It was really intense, but I beat him. But I'm not going to get cocky because I feel like I could have easily have lost that fight. All that in mind, the Barioth armor set looks so cool. It's the next full armor set that I want. It's like kind of bony. It's white. It has a bit of a samurai aesthetic to it. And I'm just like, I want this, but do I want to farm Barioth? Like that was so intense of a fight. But I probably will because it was so good. So after the Barioth, we got introduced to our next new, like, okay, this is who we need to fight, which is the Velkhana. And I'm just like, oh my God, another Elder Dragon. And it looks so intense and it's going to freeze me. So I'm just like, oh boy. Not looking forward, but not looking forward to Velkhana because I feel like that's going to be another stressful moment. And then finally we had a bit of time, so we wrapped it up with another Banbaro in the woods, which was the first time I fought Banbaro in a new element. And boy, was he just destroying that forest. While we were fighting Classy, I have to say, we haven't talked about Classy. He made a friend while we were fighting. Good on him. Like, he's got some good social skills, but maybe help me out during the fight instead of inviting a friend. And then at one point, he's like riding the friend. And I was like, Classy, what are you doing here? Like, are we fighting or are we playing? He basically found himself a Yoshi. And then he was using the Yoshi to fight the Banbaros. So whatever makes Classy happy. At this point, I think he's thinking of maybe leaving the crew and going off on his own. Like the boy band might be breaking up because, you know, the fame is getting into Classy's head at this point. But I think I can keep him around. Maybe I'll give a part of my room to him and he can decorate it however he wants. Because we got to keep this team together without Classy. Don't let him know, but he's carrying this team. And if he realizes that, I'm dead. I'm done. I can't play this game without him. So that was this week. Really fun. Like, It's probably because it's my natural progression. I'm having a lot of fun where I'm at with Iceborne. With Rise, I'm still in the early part of the game. I'm not at the part where I'm having the same amount of fun as Iceborne, but I'm really looking forward to getting there. Like, I just want to kind of get through the quest so I can get to that more difficult part. It's also interesting because just two wildly different games. You know, I am in Master. The other one I'm in low rank, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But I'm enjoying my ride. I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. I want to keep... Like, I wish I only play once a week. I wish I could do it more. But we will get back to the weekend stream soon after next week, and then we can progress even faster, because I just want to knock off some optional quests, get more gear, optimize things, just, you know, do that stuff the grind. I want to do some of that grind. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next week with 2 more journals, one for Rise, one for Iceborne. And until then, keep it classy.